Have you ever wondered why winter decided to wait until now to drop the biggest, most dangerous hammer of cold and snow we've seen in a decade? And honestly, with 127 million of us trying to ring in the new year or head home for the holidays, what does this massive atmospheric shift actually mean for your plans? Sitting here with you on this Saturday, December 27th, I'm looking at these charts, and folks, what I'm seeing is both fascinating and frankly, a little worrying. The Northeast is getting pounded right this second. Heavy snow is burying New York City, Long Island, and parts of Jersey and Pennsylvania as we speak. Up in Buffalo, things are getting scary with over 1/10 of an inch of ice glazing the roads, knocking out power, and leaving drivers stuck. But listen, this storm out east? It's just the opening act for a monster weather pattern that's about to completely change the game for weeks. Stick with me for the next 24 minutes, and we'll break down exactly why snow is coming to places that almost never see a single flake. We're talking about wrecked plans across 35 states. But I want to show you something distinctive that the other forecasts are missing today. Around the 4-minute and 30-second mark, I'll show you how a dip in the atmosphere this Sunday is going to spark a full-blown blizzard in the Midwest. By minute 8, you'll get the scoop on why the Atlantic is locking Arctic air over us for what looks like 3 long weeks. Then at 12 minutes in, we're talking specific numbers for over 65 cities, from San Diego all the way up to Maine. Everything I'm showing you is fresh, data that came in just 90 minutes ago from the top weather centers around the globe. We aren't guessing here. These are the same maps the hospitals and power companies are looking at right this second to keep the lights on. Wait until minute 18. I've got news from my friends in Georgia and the Carolinas about some rare snow heading your way. Finally, at minute 22, we'll look at why this deep freeze might stick around through January, bringing historic storms to the south. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let me tell you why even the old-school meteorologists are raising their eyebrows at this setup. It all kicks off this Sunday, December 28th, with a massive dip in the jet stream diving right into the heart of the country. This system is digging in deep and aggressively, which is usually nature's way of telling us a big storm is brewing. When that pressure drops on Sunday, I'm expecting a serious blizzard to whip up across the upper Midwest. And it doesn't stop there. As we head into early next week, things get even messier and cover a lot more ground. By the time you're waking up on New Year's Eve, Tuesday the 31st, that storm system will be digging its heels into the East Coast. That system is going to drag a wave of freezing air right behind it, and that cold isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The jet stream is buckling hard and getting stuck in place, almost like a traffic jam in the sky. It's all because of a high-pressure block up near Greenland, what we call a negative NAO, that acts like a wall, forcing the cold down to us. That block means the freezer door stays open for a long time, potentially locking us in the icebox for 2 or 3 weeks. Now, if you live in the South where you usually don't worry about snow tires, you need to hear this part. I'm telling you, keep a close eye on New Year's Eve and day, even if you're deep in the Mid-South. A few days into January, that cold air dips so far south, it could bring winter storms to places that usually only see rain. It's the perfect recipe. We've got the deep cold meeting up with a super energetic southern jet stream. Way up at 35 to 40,000 feet, the winds are screaming, carrying a ton of energy across the board. When that Arctic air smashes into that high-speed energy stream, that's when the magic, or the chaos, happens. This isn't just a southern problem. Anyone along that line is fair game, and this active pattern isn't quitting anytime soon. It's going to get busy, with both the northern and southern weather streams picking up serious speed. All we need is that cold air to mix with the moisture, and trust me, this pattern is serving that up on a silver platter. Looking way out at the end of the computer models, we're seeing some wild setups with cold air diving straight into storm centers. That signals some major storms could pop up, making for a fascinating but dangerous winter stretch. Let's talk about how this feels on your skin for the millions of you in the central and eastern states. The big chill hits Monday, December 30th, dropping temps anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees below where they should be. Again, these numbers are coming from ensemble models, updated just 90 minutes ago. We aren't looking at crystal balls here. This is the hard data emergency managers are using to prepare right now. Everyone from highway patrols to farmers is getting ready for what might be the most intense winter hit we've seen in ages. So let's map out the timeline of this mess, starting with the blizzard threat looming this weekend. It all starts Sunday, December 28th as pressure drops and the system starts cranking up over the northern plains. By that evening, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa will be seeing heavy snow as the storm really starts to flex its muscles. Come Monday, December 29th, this thing hits full power, bringing whiteout blizzard conditions to the upper Midwest. Can you believe how quickly the weather can turn from pleasant to perilous? Right on the heels of that system, a rush of freezing Arctic air is going to sweep south, sending temperatures tumbling 20 to 30 degrees in just a few short hours. By Tuesday, December 30th, this chilly pattern is going to make itself at home, parking firmly over the eastern United States and refusing to budge. Come Tuesday evening, nearly everyone living in the eastern two-thirds of the country is going to be shivering under that heavy blanket of cold air. Then on New Year's Eve, Wednesday, December 31st, folks down south might just get their first taste of winter magic as a new disturbance rides along that cold front. Imagine waking up on New Year's Day, Thursday, January 1st, to a snowy scene in Arkansas, especially in the northern counties, where several inches could pile up. My friends in the Tennessee Valley, I'm talking to you in Nashville, Huntsville, and Chattanooga. You might finally see your first real snowfall of the season. From Friday, January 2nd, right through Sunday, January 4th, brace yourselves for a second blast of icy air straight from northern Canada that is even colder than the first. Because it is going to be so frigid, don't expect that snow to turn to slush. It is going to stick around on the ground for quite a while. Looking ahead to the week of Monday, January 5th through Wednesday, January 7th, we are keeping our eyes on another major chance for winter fun in the southern states. This next system looks even more promising for snow lovers down south since it is running smack into that deep freeze that is already in place. The computer data is hinting that we could see a snowy path stretching all the way from Arkansas, across Tennessee, and right into the Carolinas. Then mark your calendars for around January 8th through the 10th, because a third system might just dive deeper into the south than anything we have seen yet. We are talking about flakes potentially flying as far down as northern Georgia, upstate South Carolina, and even the foothills of North Carolina. And believe it or not, a fourth round could keep the winter vibes going strong between January 12th and the 14th. So pull up a chair and let me break down exactly what this wild weather map means for more than 65 of our biggest cities across the nation. Let's start out west, where we are seeing a total divide in conditions that is unlike anything else happening in the country right now. For my family in Seattle and Portland, keep those rain boots handy because storms are lining up, bringing soaking rains to town and dumping snow in the mountains. Up in the Cascades, from Mount Baker all the way to Mount Shasta, we could see an incredible 3 to 6 feet of fresh powder over the next 2 weeks. If you are planning to drive through passes like Snoqualmie, Stevens, or White Pass, please be careful as the roads are going to be treacherous. Meanwhile, San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose are living the dream with absolutely beautiful days and temperatures cruising in the low to mid-70s. Down in Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Orange County, it is nothing but sunshine and smiles, with highs consistently reaching the mid to upper 70s. San Diego, Tijuana, and the whole southern coast are basking in paradise, with the mercury flirting with 80 degrees. Folks in Sacramento, Stockton, and the Central Valley can enjoy a nice, mild stretch while the rest of the country bundles up. Fresno, Bakersfield, and Modesto are in for a treat, enjoying perhaps the finest winter weather California has seen in over 10 years. It is picture perfect in Las Vegas, Henderson, and Reno, with nothing but blue skies and comfortable temps in the 70s. Phoenix, Scottsdale, and Tucson are just delightful right now, warming up to the upper 70s and maybe even touching 80 degrees. But heads up if you are in Albuquerque or Santa Fe, because things are about to change big time, with a chill arriving by the middle of the week. Over in the Mountain West, get ready for the wildest temperature swing anywhere in the lower 48 states. Denver, Aurora, and the Front Range are about to tackle the toughest stretch of winter weather we have seen in quite a few years. We might see some light flakes Sunday evening, but the real headline is the nosedive the thermometer is going to take come Monday and Tuesday. Can you believe Colorado Springs, Pueblo, and Fort Collins will go from the 50s this weekend to possibly below zero by Tuesday? It is a similar story for Salt Lake City, Provo, and Ogden, where the mercury will plunge and we might get a good dumping of snow in the valleys. Boise, Twin Falls, and Pocatello, bundle up tight because Monday kicks off some of the coldest days you have felt all winter. My friends in Cheyenne, Casper, and Billings need to watch out for potential blizzard conditions Sunday night into Monday, followed by stinging wind chills. Now let's look at the upper Midwest, where things are going to get genuinely dangerous starting this very weekend. Minneapolis, St. Paul, and everyone in the Twin Cities, please stay safe as a major blizzard rolls in from Sunday night through Monday. We are expecting a wallop of 8 to 14 inches of snow, and when you add the wind, it could feel like 30 to 40 degrees below zero. Up in Duluth, Superior, and the Iron Range, you might get buried under even more, possibly 12 to 18 inches of the white stuff. Fargo, Grand Forks, and Bismarck are going to bear the brunt of this storm, with blinding whiteouts and cold that is nothing to mess around with. Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay, you are on the edge of the worst of it, but you are still going to have plenty of snow to shovel. Travel is going to be a nightmare in La Crosse, Eau Claire, and Rochester, Minnesota, so please stay off the roads as the snow piles up and temps crash. Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, and Davenport might just catch the tail end of the heavy snow Sunday night, so keep those shovels ready. Chicago, Rockford, and Peoria are in that tricky spot where the snow stops only to be replaced by biting cold air by Monday evening. Once this storm clears out, the actual air temperature in the upper Midwest is going to sink to depths we haven't experienced in years. Imagine daytime highs that struggle to even reach zero from Tuesday all the way through Friday in many spots. Have you ever seen the Great Lakes turn into a winter engine? We are heading there next, where the lake effect snow adds a dangerous and wild twist to the forecast. If you are in Detroit, Grand Rapids, or Lansing, get those shovels ready for Tuesday, because Arctic air is sweeping across Lake Michigan to dump a whole lot of snow on your doorstep. Folks in Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and Muskegon, you have got to watch out because those heavy snow bands might pile up way faster than you would expect. Over in Cleveland, Akron, and Youngstown, once those northwest winds kick up, Lake Erie is going to wake up and send some potentially heavy snow your way. Don't think Toledo, Sandusky, or Lorain are getting off easy. You guys could see a serious amount of powder stacking up from all this lake activity. For my family up in Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse, it is that classic winter setup you know so well, likely bringing some heavy local downpours of snow. Up around Watertown, Oswego, and Tug Hill, we are talking about a serious burying. Maybe 2 to 3 feet of the white stuff piling up over a few days. Erie, Pennsylvania. Now, let's chat about the Ohio Valley and Central Appalachians, because things are getting really interesting with some winter weather we rarely see around here. If you are in Cincinnati, mark your calendars for January 1st, the 5th, and the 9th. Those are the days when things could get real snowy and wild. Down in Louisville, Lexington, and Bowling Green, with this cold air locking in, you might finally catch your first big snowfall of the season. It is a similar story for our friends in Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and Evansville, where storms are lining up to bring you a taste of winter too. Pittsburgh, Morgantown, and Wheeling, you guys are in a tricky spot where it could be snow or nasty ice depending on exactly where those storms decide to go. Charleston, Huntington, and Parkersburg, folks, get ready. This might be the biggest winter wallop you have seen in years. Let's shift gears to the Northeast, where things are going from bad to worse, with an even busier and more dangerous pattern setting up. My friends in New York City, Long Island, and northern New Jersey, I know you are already in the thick of it with that major storm, and it is going to stick around through tonight. By the time this wraps up on Saturday, the whole metro area could be blanketed in 6 to 10 inches of snow. Boston, Cambridge, and Worcester, the snow is not stopping yet. Expect heavy flakes and several more inches to pile up by Saturday morning. Providence, Hartford, and New Haven, you are looking at continued snowfall that could leave you with a total of 4 to 8 inches on the ground. Up in Albany, Schenectady, and Troy, you are just catching the northern edge of this mess, so expect a lighter dusting compared to the coast. Burlington, Montpelier, and St. Johnsbury, you will see some light to moderate snow from this system, but nothing too crazy. Portland, Lewiston, and Bangor, you are on the northeastern fringe of this storm, so look out for some moderate accumulation. Philadelphia, Allentown, and Reading, you are sitting on the southern line, so you are getting that messy mix of precipitation right now. Down in Baltimore, Annapolis, and Frederick, it is mostly just a rainy day for you, though do not be surprised if a little frozen mix tries to sneak in. Washington, D.C., Alexandria, and Arlington, you guys are mostly seeing rain, so the winter impact there is going to be pretty minimal this time. But hold on tight, because next week is a totally different ball game with a pattern that is cooking up even more storms. The Mid-Atlantic and Northeast are going to have several chances to see winter weather as storms keep rolling down that same track. Now, for my family in the Southeast, listen up. This could be the biggest winter weather threat we have seen in over a decade. Atlanta, Sandy Springs, and Roswell, you need to bundle up because you are about to feel the coldest temperatures you have felt in more than 5 years. Even if it does not snow, those morning lows are plunging into the mid to upper teens, which can really put a strain on pipes and power grids. Augusta, Columbus, and Macon, keep an eye out for freeze warnings because that Arctic air is pushing way further south than it normally dares to go. Charlotte, Greensboro, and Winston-Salem, you have got a real shot at some winter action with multiple storms lining up to visit. Keep a close watch on the 5th and 9th of January. Both systems look like they could actually dump some accumulating snow right on Charlotte. Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, you are in the same boat, as the storm track seems to have a bullseye on central North Carolina. If you are up in Asheville, Boone, or anywhere in the Blue Ridge Mountains above 2,000 feet, you are definitely the favorites to catch some heavy snow. Columbia, Charleston, and Greenville, this could be the most serious winter weather you have dealt with since way back in 2018. That system on January 9th is the one to watch. It has a real chance of bringing rare accumulating snow to upstate South Carolina. Heading over to the Mid-South, this setup is giving us the highest chance of winter weather we have seen in more than 10 years. Nashville, Murfreesboro, and Franklin, you are sitting right in the sweet spot for these storms, meaning you could see round after round of winter weather. Again, circle January 1st, 5th, and 9th. Those are the days that could bring significant snow to the Nashville metro area. Memphis, Germantown, and Bartlett, you have a unique and tricky situation brewing with the potential for an ice storm right along the Mississippi River. When you mix that river moisture with this deep freeze, it creates the perfect recipe for dangerous freezing rain. Knoxville, Oak Ridge, and Maryville, looks like you have excellent odds of catching significant snow with every single system that passes through. And for Chattanooga, Cleveland, and the Tennessee Valley, get ready. This could be the first time you see meaningful winter weather in quite a few years. Have you ever wondered if Mother Nature has a personal vendetta against us this year? Because for my family in Little Rock, North Little Rock, and Conway, Arkansas, it looks like you are sitting in the bullseye for a series of rough winter storms. The way things are lining up, your hometown is practically center stage for potentially all 4 storm systems I have been watching for the next 2 weeks. And for my friends over in Fort Smith, Fayetteville, and Jonesboro, Arkansas, this pattern isn't skipping you either. There is some serious wintry potential headed your way. Down in Mississippi, folks in Birmingham, Huntsville, and Decatur, Alabama, you really need to get ready for what could be the coldest weather in years, maybe even decades. Now, snow is definitely on the table with any of these 4 systems, but don't worry too much about shoveling. It should be lighter than what our cousins up north get. Mobile, Montgomery, and Tuscaloosa are going to feel a temperature plunge that is going to put a real strain on pipes and power lines that just aren't built for this deep freeze. For everyone down in Florida and the deep southeast, this looks like the biggest cold threat we have had to deal with in over a decade. Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and Gainesville, you need to keep an eye out for hard freezes that could really do a number on the citrus groves and delicate plants. Even Orlando, Tampa, and Lakeland are going to feel a chill we haven't felt in quite a few years, so stay tuned for those freeze warnings. My people in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach will stay the warmest, but don't get too comfortable. Temps are going to take a nosedive there, too. We are talking about South Florida dipping 15 to 20 degrees below what you are used to, bringing a rare shiver to our usually sunny paradise. Heading over to the South Central region, this setup is opening the door for storm after storm and some cold like we have never seen before. Dallas, Fort Worth, and Arlington get ready for the longest cold snap of the season, and you might even see some frozen stuff falling from the sky. You will want to mark your calendars for the systems around January 5th and 9th. Both could bring some winter mess right to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Austin, San Marcos, and Round Rock will feel that temperature drop like a rock, but thankfully, you should stay just above freezing for most of it. Houston, the Woodlands, and Sugar Land, you might be waking up to freeze warnings as that icy Arctic air pushes way down deep into Texas. San Antonio, New Braunfels, and Corpus Christi are looking at the coldest weather in years, which could spell trouble for our local growers. New Orleans, Metairie, and Kenner could see hard freeze warnings as that cold air marches all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and Lake Charles might actually experience freezing temperatures for the first time in quite a while. Tulsa, Norman, and Lawton, Oklahoma, you are sitting right in the bowling lane for multiple rounds of winter weather over the next 2 weeks. Oklahoma City, Edmond, and more need to be on high alert for significant winter storms with every single system that rolls through. Wichita, Topeka, and Kansas City, Kansas, brace yourselves for some of the toughest winter weather you have faced all season. Now, let's have a heart-to-heart about these temperatures because honestly, the numbers we are seeing across the region are just jaw-dropping. The first big blast of cold air hits on Monday, December 29th, knocking temperatures down 20 to 25 degrees lower than normal. By Tuesday, December 30th, that Arctic air will have completely taken over the central and eastern parts of the country. Up in the upper Midwest, we are talking about air so cold it is actually dangerous to be outside for even a few minutes. Minneapolis and Fargo might not even see zero during the day, with nights plunging to minus 25 or even minus 35 degrees. Chicago is in for the longest deep freeze of the winter, with daytime highs struggling to even reach the single digits above zero. Detroit and Cleveland are staring down the barrel of the longest run of below-freezing days you have had in years. Even for us folks way further south, this cold is going to be unlike anything we have seen this winter or even in recent memory. St. Louis and Kansas City could wake up to temps in the single digits below zero for several mornings in a row. Nashville and Louisville might see morning lows in the single digits above zero, which would be the coldest it has been in over 5 years. Atlanta could dip into the mid to upper teens, putting a lot of stress on homes and grids that aren't used to staying that cold. Charlotte and Raleigh are set for the coldest temps in years, with lows possibly hitting the lower 20s. Even down in Birmingham and Jackson, Mississippi, you are looking at morning lows in the upper teens to lower 20s. A second wave of this extra blast of Arctic air guarantees we stay shivering instead of warming back up quickly. Then a third hit around January 8th could bring even colder air, possibly matching or beating that first blast. What really worries me about this pattern is how hard it is going to be on our towns that just aren't ready for this kind of long-lasting cold. You know, the power grids down south are built for summer AC, not for keeping up with winter heating emergencies. Water systems in spots that aren't used to hard freezes could see a lot of burst pipes and headaches. Our roads aren't ready either. We just don't have the snow plows or the know-how to handle wave after wave of winter weather. The folks at the DOT from Arkansas to the Carolinas really need to be getting the salt, sand, and trucks ready right now. Farmers are going to have a tough time too, especially with the citrus and sensitive crops down in Florida and Georgia. Have you ever noticed how a freeze that sticks around is so much tougher on the garden than a quick cold snap? Our four-legged friends are going to need extra love, warmth, and food to get through this long stretch of shivering weather. Everyone is going to be cranking up a thermostat, so expect the demand for natural gas to shoot through the roof all across the East. The power companies aren't taking chances. They are already calling in extra hands from out of town to help keep the lights on. Even the airlines are shuffling flights around in big hubs like Atlanta and Dallas to get ahead of the mess. When you mix this never-ending cold with wet winter storms, the risk of losing power goes way, way up. So why don't I break down exactly why this shivering weather might be our guest until late January or longer? There is a stubborn weather pattern called the negative NAO that just refuses to budge on the long-term charts. Think of it like a traffic jam over Greenland and Canada that isn't going anywhere until at least January 20th. Some of the charts are even hinting that this block could sit there until early February, which is just unheard of. As long as that roadblock stays put, the dip in jet stream is going to stay parked right over the eastern states. That setup basically rolls out the red carpet for storm after storm to bring that Arctic air down on us repeatedly. The jet stream down south is looking feisty and full of energy for the foreseeable future, too. When you combine that active southern energy with all this cold air already in place, it is a perfect recipe for more storms. We could honestly be looking at snow and ice chances stretching all the way into the third week of January. Looking at the long-range data, this might be the most stubborn winter stretch the South has seen since the winter of 2013 and 2014. Do you remember that year? We had ice storms and bitter cold in places that just weren't built for it. The way things are looking now, this could be even more widespread and drag on longer than those old memories. Let me walk you through how to get your home and family ready, depending on where you are riding out this storm. For my folks up in the upper Midwest, please listen, because those blizzard conditions this weekend are no joke. If you are in Minneapolis, Milwaukee, or Des Moines, please have your chores wrapped up by Saturday evening. Go ahead and grab a week's worth of groceries, water, medicine, and fuel so you don't have to go out. Make sure the family car is packed with blankets, snacks, flashlights, and a first aid kit just in case. I want you to stay off the roads from Sunday night through Tuesday because it is going to be incredibly dangerous out there. Give your heater a test run now and have a backup plan ready to keep warm if the electricity goes out. Now, for my friends around the Great Lakes, you know how nasty that lake effect snow and biting cold can get. Buffalo, Cleveland, Detroit, you guys need to batten down the hatches for a long stretch of rough weather. You know better than anyone how that snow can blind you in seconds and pile up before you can blink. Keep a few different driving routes in mind because your usual way home might get blocked without warning. For everyone down in the Ohio Valley and Mid-South, you are looking at round after round of winter trouble. Places like Cincinnati, Nashville, and Little Rock need to get ready for a winter 1-2 punch like you have never seen. Since our homes down here aren't built for this constant beating, getting prepared is the only way to stay safe. Please hit the grocery store before Tuesday because these storms might mess up deliveries for a while. You have got to protect your pipes from freezing temperatures that are going to be colder and last longer than we are used to. Wrap up those outdoor faucets, take the hoses off, and maybe leave a faucet dripping inside when it gets super cold. To my family across the Southeast, this cold is going to be something for the history books, so don't take it lightly. Atlanta, Charlotte, and Birmingham are facing some of the toughest winter weather we have had in years. Even if we don't get a mountain of snow, that deep freeze can wreak havoc on the roads and power lines. Make sure you have plenty of heating fuel and think about how you will stay warm if the power grid struggles. Please go check on your elderly neighbors and kinfolk who might not know how to handle a freeze this long. For the farmers out there, you need to get your freeze protection plans in motion right this second. The animals need windbreaks and a lot more feed than usual to keep their body heat up during this long stretch. You have to make sure their water troughs don't turn into ice blocks, so get those heaters running. If you are growing citrus in Florida or Georgia, throw everything you have at saving the groves because this freeze looks mean. Keeping crops alive is so much harder when the cold just sits there day after day compared to a quick overnight frost. Have you ever felt like the sky was trying to tell us something big is on the horizon? It feels like we might be saying goodbye to those gentle, easygoing winters we've grown so used to down in the southeast. Nature moves in rhythms, and it looks like the pendulum is swinging back toward a much rougher, more active winter cycle for a while. Now, this isn't breaking the rules of nature, but it is a wild swing that's part of how our climate breathes and changes. We've seen setups like this in the past, and let me tell you, they tend to leave a mark we don't forget anytime soon. Remember digging out from the Christmas blizzard of 2009? Or sliding around during the ice storms of February 2014? Well, brace yourselves, because what is coming down the pike has the muscle to be bigger, wider, and tougher than any of those memories. It's going to hit our wallets, too. Keeping our homes warm could cost 50 to 70% more than we're used to paying in January. Getting around might be a nightmare, and I'm worried about the toll this will take on our farmers and our roads. Let's sit down and walk through the 7 things you absolutely need to know to keep your loved ones safe during this wild ride. Number 1, a monster storm is brewing for Sunday up in the upper Midwest, and it is going to be incredibly dangerous for millions of folks. If you are near Minneapolis, Milwaukee, or Chicago, please be careful. This looks like the roughest winter weather you've faced in years. Number 2, the atmosphere is jamming up like a traffic wreck, trapping freezing Arctic air over the east for 3 to 4 weeks. We haven't seen a cold snap this stubborn or this dangerous targeting the South in over a decade. Number 3, get ready for a parade of storms. 4 distinct systems lining up to drop snow in places that hardly ever see a flake. Friends, from Arkansas all the way to the Carolinas, you are looking at snow chances we haven't seen in ages, maybe even decades. Number 4, it is going to get bone-chillingly cold. Temperatures dropping 20 to 30 degrees lower than normal will put a strain on everything. Our power lines and water pipes just aren't built for this kind of deep freeze, so we need to be ready for outages. Number 5, the computer models aren't bluffing. They have been telling the same scary story for days and getting more intense. I rarely say this when looking this far ahead, but I am almost certain this is going to happen. Number 6, the clock is ticking, folks. This dangerous pattern starts locking in on Sunday, December 28th. Please do me a favor and have your pantry stocked and your home ready by Saturday evening at the latest. Number 7, this isn't a quick hit. We could be dealing with this deep freeze well into January and maybe even early February. The atmospheric block holding this cold in place is stronger and more stubborn than anything we usually see. Now keep in mind that the specific path each storm takes will wiggle a bit as we get closer to the day. You know I'll be right here watching the radar day and night to keep you posted on every twist and turn. My next video is going to dive deep into that massive blizzard hitting the Midwest on Sunday, so keep an eye out for that. I will also have the latest snowfall numbers from my friends down south as those storms start to take shape. That is the big picture for this holiday stretch and the challenging weeks lying ahead of us. Please stay safe and take this seriously. Getting ready now could truly be a lifesaver for you and your family. Whether you are buried in snow in Minnesota or watching flakes fall in Georgia, I want you to be ready for anything. Drop a comment below and tell me where you are hunkering down and what steps you're taking to prepare. Hearing what you are seeing on the ground really helps me fine-tune these updates for our whole community. And listen, if you have any prayer requests, leave them down there too. I would be honored to pray for you. God bless you and your families as we brace for this historic winter roller coaster together. This isn't just your average winter chill, folks. It is something much more intense. We are looking at a major shift that could bring history-making weather right to your doorstep. Hang in there, stay sharp, and keep checking back as these systems roll in over the coming weeks. Storms like this really remind us how small we are and how much we need to lean on each other during tough times. We will get through this storm and whatever else comes our way, side by side.